We can. Thank you very much, Barry, for remembering that. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is the third session of our District Learning Assembly. In the past 2 nights, we learned about the Rotary Action Plan and talked about specific actions in membership and public image to expand our reach and increase our impact. This evening, we will boost our knowledge of our amazing foundation and learn how we can leverage our foundation to serve our local communities and around the world. Before we get started, I would like to introduce our team members. First, our District Learning Chair, Kalpana Patel.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
She organized all the learning sessions, which will run until May 14th, and she will put together many more ongoing learning opportunities for us throughout next year. Next, our Technology and Information Chair, PDG, Barry Crow.
Hey everyone, have a good session.
He will record this session, which is on now, and make everything for all the sessions available on our website. And our District Foundation Chair, PDG, Andy Calomares.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending tonight.
Andy will moderate the second half of our program this evening. Now, our guest speaker this evening is Eileen Rao, our Zone Foundation Coordinator from the Rotary Club of West Hartford. Eileen is an experienced facilitator and speaker at various district and zone learning events. Many of us appreciate her weekly inspirational email messages about the foundation. Let's all welcome Eileen.
Good evening, everyone. If you'll just bear with me for just a moment, I'd like to share my slides.
We see that perfectly.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really so happy to be here, and it's fun to be in New Jersey. I was in New Jersey about a month ago at Mid-Northeast Pets, and I enjoyed meeting everyone there, and I love New Jersey. It's actually next door to my home state of Pennsylvania. I'm living in Connecticut now, but I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, southwestern Pennsylvania. So it's great to be here. I want to share something with you. It's a treasure that belongs to each of us. A treasure that will help your Rotary Club and your members create the magic of Rotary and do good in the world. The Rotary Foundation's mission is to help Rotary members to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace in improving health, providing quality education, improving the environment, and alleviating poverty. Our foundation is carefully overseen by your fellow Rotarians, the trustees of the Rotary Foundation. They ensure that your donations are invested well and spent wisely so they'll do good in the world. Our members' generosity and Rotary's work haven't gone unrecognized. For the 15th consecutive year, the Rotary Foundation has received the highest rating, 4 stars, from Charity Navigator, an independent evaluator of charities in the United States, for demonstrating strong financial health and commitment to accountability and transparency. The rating reflects Charity Navigator's assessment of how the foundation uses donations, sustains its programs and services, and practices good governance and openness. I don't know if you're aware or not, but periodically, the Rotary Foundation Stewardship Department will audit the district grant of a district, also global grants, whether they are in the US or in another country. Most of them, as we know, global grants are usually in another country, but that's not always the case. Our district was selected to have a random operational audit of our district grant. And I was the foundation chair at the time. I was a little nervous because I felt like the IRS was coming for a visit. But there was a CPA that was sent out, part of our cadre that does these audits. And he went through every district grant project. He went through every invoice, every check. And he was very, very good at giving us ideas as to how we can be even more diligent with our district grant. So that's just gives you an idea of how this transparency and this stewardship of our funds, our foundation funds, gets all the way down to the district level. They really do a good job. We're going to talk a little bit about the Rotary Foundation. Jeannie asked me to talk about the nuts and bolts, kind of like Foundation 101. So yeah, this is what we're going to be talking about. If you have any questions, we'll have questions and answers at the end of the slide program. Our foundation is dedicated to causes or areas of focus, which you can see on the screen. These areas build international relationships, improve lives, and promote a more peaceful world. Which of these causes resonates with you? What are you passionate about? I know one of my passions is peace building and conflict prevention, and I'm a big fan of the peace centers. The foundation can help you turn your passion for a cause into action and lasting change. Rotarians are encouraged to lead efforts in these areas, and the Rotary Foundation is here to support those efforts with grants. In fact, the very mission of our foundation is to enable Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, peace, promoting health, etc. Which area of focus do you think has the highest number of global grants? Does anyone have any ideas which one? When we listed, we just showed the 7 of them. Any hands? Any ideas? No?
Water.
Okay, water. Michael said water. Anyone else?
Hygiene.
Hygiene. Okay, water and hygiene and sanitation. Okay. I was a little surprised about this too, because in our district, we have done a number of water projects, global grant water projects, but actually the #1 area is disease prevention and treatment. These are last year's figures, 22, 23. There were 481 projects and just over $31.5 million. And as you can see, they're spread out. The environment is 57 projects. That's a newer area of focus. We know this year there are many more global grants in that area. And peace building and conflict prevention, 65. The other ones are a little bit higher, but it's interesting, disease prevention and treatment. And I too would have thought water, so, which is interesting. What are the programs of the Rotary Foundation? Well, there are 3 of them, and they're on the screen right now. So we'll talk a little bit about them. One of our biggest programs, or the one that is the goal of the Rotary and Rotary Foundation, is eradicating polio. The Peace Centers is another program, and the Humanitarian Grants Program is the 3rd. The humanitarian grants include disaster response grants, global grants, district grants, and there's a new program the new programs of scale. And I don't know how many of you have heard about them, but they're not like glorified global grants. These are very large multi-year projects with a number of partners involved, and you're talking about several $1 million. And one of them was the eradication of malaria. And there's another one that was chosen, which is to work on the problem of cervical cancer in Egypt. So these are huge programs. So just, when you get a chance, if you can go on the Rotary website and learn a little bit more about them, but it's a very new program. Oops, I went too fast. The Peace Centers. As I said, peace is really something that just gets me excited and enthusiastic. And one of the reasons is when I was governor in 12-13, Sakuji Tanaka was the president. The theme was peace through service. He was the peace president. We were considered the peace governors. And we actually got together, and a lot of the peace governors gave funds for the Sakuji Tanaka named endowed fund that went to the peace centers. So I have something like, everybody has their own program that makes them really get excited. And this is one of mine. The Peace Centers is a program with a very long view, but already alumni are spreading their experiences and training in governments, international institutions, non-governmental organizations, and communities. There are 5 centers around the world that offer master's degree in disciplines related to peace and development. There is a program in the United States. It's a joint program with Duke University and the University of North Carolina. There's the International Christian University in Japan, the University of Bradford in England, the University of Queensland in Australia, and Uppsala University in Sweden. And I was calling it Uppsala and then found out that's not how you say it. It's Ups with a Sala at the end. The master's degree program is intended for individuals towards the start of their peace-building careers. Our center at Makerere University in Uganda offers a postgraduate diploma in peacebuilding and conflict transformation that is intended for mid-career working professionals. These are people that have been working in this field for at least 5 years. This one-year professional development certificate program blends online learning, classroom studies, and field visits, and there's a 9-month social change initiative. Starting this year, we will be recruiting for our newest Rotary Peace Center opening at, can never pronounce this right, it's Bahçeşehir, often called Bağ University, which is easier to say, in Istanbul, Turkey, which will also offer this one-year professional development certificate with a postgraduate diploma in peace and development. Realizing a vision that has been in the works for 3 years, this new peace center in Istanbul makes progress toward the Rotary Foundation's long-term goal of expanding peace centers in key geographic areas. There is a search going on now to find a new site in Asia. The next site will be in South America. The goal is to have a peace center on every continent. And when I was talking about this about a week ago, someone said, well, how about Antarctica? I don't know if there's a university there, so we'll have to see if we'll have it with the penguins down near the South Pole. Rotarians support our foundation through several funds. We talked about Polio Plus. The Polio Plus Fund is dedicated to global polio eradication. The annual fund is the primary source of funding for foundation grants and activities. The endowment fund, which used to be called the permanent fund, supports the foundation in perpetuity. Only the earnings are used. And there's also, this is a newer fund, the Disaster Response Fund, which was set up to provide disaster relief. The Polio Plus Fund is dedicated, as I said, to polio eradication. Contributions to the Polio Fund support polio eradications around the world and they still are supported by the match from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Every dollar that Rotary commits in direct support of polio immunization, up to $50 million per year, will be matched by an additional $2 from the Gates Foundation. This means your contribution to polio will have 3 times the impact. The Gates Foundation must feel good about Rotary because we keep being re-upped to get that match, which really helps. The endowment fund supports the foundation in perpetuity. Donors who support the endowment help secure a strong financial future for the Rotary Foundation. Contributions are not spent like the annual fund or polio contributions. With the endowment, they are invested to generate earnings, and the earnings are used to support different projects. The endowment lets donors know that their gift will affect lives for generations, and supporters have various opportunities to direct their giving to foundation programs. My husband and I have 2 endowed funds. We have one whose earnings go to the annual fund share. And as you'll see later, I love the grants program. I'm the grants chair of my district, so I just see all the good they do, so I get really excited. And also we have just started an endowed fund for the peace centers. The Disaster Response Fund supports disaster relief and recovery efforts through disaster response grants. Districts may request up to $25,000 for a disaster response grant. Back in 21-22, $15.3 million was made available to Ukraine for disaster relief. Our district did a disaster response grant to help build modular homes, because obviously a lot of the housing was destroyed in the Ukraine. And last but not least, the annual fund is the primary funding source for foundation grant activities. Contributions to the annual fund support local and international grants and activities through the share system. Contributions are credited to the donor and the donors club. The annual fund will be highlighted this evening because contributions to the annual fund share enter the share system and generate something called district designated funds, which we shorten to DDF because the district designated funds is a mouthful. The DDF is used to support local and international projects. Rotarians are the key. You are the key to the Rotary Foundation. Your investment in the Rotary Foundation annual share supports district managed grants, global grant scholars, vocational training teams. Where does your contribution go and how does this all work? And that's something we're going to talk about now. The district designated fund that a district has available is the result of gifts made by donors in that district and your district 3 years earlier. The 3-year funding cycle allows the funds to be invested so the earnings can help pay for administrative and fund development costs. I was in Evanston at Rotary headquarters a few weeks ago, and the staff is just wonderful. And they have on-staff financial people who actually make sure that our funds are invested properly. So they're in very solid funds, but also create earnings from these investments to help support our foundation. This investment also allows the district to plan how to allocate the district designated funds that will become available. It's important for the district and clubs to think about how they are going to spend the funds that they receive. from the foundation through these district designated funds. Here's how it works. When you donate to the annual fund share, say you're going to donate $100. For 3 years, your $100 is invested. After 3 years, the money is made available to fund projects. And there are two kinds of pots of money. Approximately 50%, it's changed a little bit for this coming July, will go to the World Fund. And that provides the match for global grants and for other programs that the trustees decide on. The second little pot of funds goes to these district designated funds. And those can go to fund district grants as well as global grants. I wanted to talk just a little bit about a global grant that was done in the Central Pennsylvania district of District 7390. It's called Operation Braveheart. And when I heard about what this grant was all about, it really it goes after your heartstrings because it has to do with children. The grant is a project in the Philippines to repair the hearts of young children. These are children that are born with holes in their heart. There is a fairly simple procedure that will take care of the issue, but obviously in some of these communities, they don't have the expertise. The doctors don't have the ability to do these surgeries. And the other issue is money. The first global grant for Operation Braveheart sent a surgeon over to the Philippines, and he repaired the hearts of 30 children. Each surgery is $900, and the $900 pays for a device that's put into the heart. And after these surgeries, the children are like regular children. They can go to play, they don't run out of breath. They have obviously their lifespan is enhanced. It was just amazing. And they said, this grant worked. Let's try another one. So they were able to do another grant to do more surgeries, and that got through. And they said, we were lucky for 2 times, let's try again. And the foundation has supported a third global grant to do these surgeries. And this is still up and running now. So that, this is still an ongoing global grant. And, when you think about $900 for this major surgery, it's hard to fathom. My husband had knee surgery this past December. It's his second knee. And all I can say is, thank goodness we don't have 3 legs or 3 knees. So I saw the list price when you get your claim from the insurance company. They show you what the hospital, et cetera, charge. Just for the hospital charges, it was $57,000. It just floored me. The knee alone was $27,000. Unbelievable. But anyway, this is helping children. And this is just, one project, actually 3, because there are 3 different global grants that is funded by the Rotary Foundation and that district's district designated funds. And this is such a great project. Anytime you see the little kids and there's a little baby, it's just so heartwarming that we've been able to help these young children. And this is a district grant that was in a town adjacent to where I live. It's New Britain, Connecticut. Actually, the club is 2 towns. New Britain and Berlin are next together, but they have one Rotary Club. And this area is probably one of the lowest income areas in the state of Connecticut. The children in schools are on, free lunches. Their families have subsidized housing, et cetera. They don't have the opportunity to get books in their homes, et cetera. It's a difficult area because obviously the teachers want the children to learn, and they're behind before they even start. So the New Britain Berlin Club did a literacy project, and they worked with the schools. They also worked with the Y and a reading program, and they purchased 900 of these books for 3rd graders called Nigel and the Moon. They distributed the books to the children, but they didn't stop there. Each Rotarian would volunteer to go into the classes and actually read to the children out loud, because we know that children learn not only by reading themselves, but by hearing others read. I was a tutor for reading in kindergarten and first grade, and the big thing was to read to these children and then have them read to you. So this was a great project. They also got the Interact Club in their area to put the little labels on each book, which you can see in the middle photo. So this was a district grant. It was, I think the whole thing cost, was something like $2,500 or $3,000. I don't remember the exact amount. But it just to get these children back on the road to be able to read, because as we all know, being able to read and being literate is so important. These projects that we just talked about are so important. And they were made possible because Rotarians supported the foundation and participated in the foundation grants. Rotary has a fundraising initiative called Every Rotarian Every Year, sometimes called E-Ray, even though there's not an A in that E-Ray. The goal is to increase both annual fund support and obviously Rotarian engagement with the foundation. How many of you have heard of Every Rotarian Every Year, E-Ray? I love that word, E-Ray. The idea is that if every Rotarian gave at least $25 to the annual fund yearly, what the foundation would accomplish would certainly multiply. Last year, donors who gave $25 to $50 contributed almost $5.4 million to the foundation. Rotarians gave $147.6 million to the annual fund. 34.45% of Rotarians supported the annual fund as individual donors. 81.3% of Rotary clubs worldwide supported the annual fund. And last year, we had just under 1,100 global grants that were awarded. And some of them were in the United States. There was actually one, a global grant that was done on the environment in Rockland County, New York. With a third of Rotarians worldwide donating to the annual fund, becoming eligible for E-Ray, we've achieved a lot and improved the lives of many people. Can you imagine how many more lives could be changed through grant projects if we encouraged even more members to contribute at least $25 to the annual fund every year? It would just be astounding. Individual and club recognitions. This is something we don't always hear much about. And the reason I bring it up is last Friday, I got a chance to go to a club that's next to mine, is the Avon Canton Rotary Club, and they were honoring their club foundation chair. And she loves Rotary jewelry. And she doesn't mean the items you get at Russell Hampton. She's talking about all the bling that people like to wear. And and I have my bling on, I have my jewelry on too. I don't know if you can see it, but I think we're proud of our Rotary pins and other pins that the foundation gives. So we're going to talk a little bit about that now. Without sustained support of the annual fund, the programs of the Rotary Foundation can't happen. But with contributions of $100 or more from every member every year, we could nearly double our efforts to help people in need. Someone who contributes $100 or more to the annual fund every year is a Rotary Foundation sustaining member. When you donate to Rotary, you can be assured that your gift will be used to its fullest by Rotarians around the world. Paul Harris Fellows. We recognize generous donors who give $1,000 or more to the annual fund, Polio Plus, or an approved foundation grant as Paul Harris Fellows. It's probably the most best known of the foundation recognition programs of the Rotary Foundation. Do we have any Paul Harris Fellows with us this evening? Whoop, can't see my hand. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the Rotary Foundation. you should be very, very proud. There, two ways to get a Paul Harris Fellow, either you through your donations over time or with, one check for $1,000, you will become a Paul Harris Fellow, or sometimes clubs will honor either their Rotarians in their club or members of the community by donating to the Rotary Foundation $1,000 and giving that award or honor to their community members or their members in the club. Also, when you donate to the Paul Harris Fellows, you get foundation points. And we'll be talking about those in another slide or two, about these foundation points and what you can actually do with them. As you see on the screen, Paul Harris Fellows get a certificate, and they also get a pin. And depending on where you are, because you can earn multi-Paul Harris Fellows, depending on your giving, or if you've been honored or awarded a Paul Harris Fellow, you get all kinds of blue, and then it goes up to red stones. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I made an error going on a walk today, and the pollen is just terrible up here. I live in Sinus Valley of the Connecticut River. And now just foundation recognition points. They're awarded to donors who contribute to the Rotary Foundation through the annual fund, the Disaster Response Fund, Polio Plus, or who donate to a global grant. You receive 1 recognition point for every dollar. The contributions to the endowment are not eligible. And you can transfer these recognition points to others to help them qualify for a Paul Harris Fellow, or actually give them, they may need, say, 200 more points so they can reach that level. Also, there's some clubs and districts who use these points to help or encourage their members to give to the foundation. And I know there's a district down in, I think it's South Carolina, because I know their foundation chair, and she said, we do that if someone donates like a minimum of $300, they'll give them 300 points or whatever. So it's 1-to-1 with a minimum, just to encourage giving. So just to remember that for every dollar you get a foundation point. And as you can see on the bottom, you need a minimum of 100 foundation recognition points to be able to do the transfers. Just wanted to tell you a story. I don't know. I was an assistant governor. I don't know if we have any assistant governors, past or present, on the line. And when I went to Mid-Northeast Pets, I talked about how I loved being an assistant governor. I still get invited to some of the club meetings. And there was a club called the Farmington Rotary Club, small town. And there was a new president. He liked to call me at 9 o'clock at night when I was thinking it's time to go to bed. But anyway, his name was Steve. And he was looking at the various reports that he got as president. He said, why does our club have 30 or 40,000 foundation points? What is going on? And I said, that's because your club is donating for all of your members, and your recognition points are going to your club, not to the people who may have donated, and you're sending in the money for them. So he said, I'm going to change this. So he actually started encouraging people to donate on their own, or the club would donate for them, but give them the credit. So they got the foundation points and had it's more, I think, a better or a direct connection to your donation that you're getting. You're going to get the letter from the foundation. Thanking you. If the club donates and doesn't put your name in, only the club's going to get thank yous. The Paul Harris Society recognizes Rotary members and friends of the Rotary Foundation who contribute $1,000 or more each year. Right now, the society has nearly 32,000 members, and 20% of all the money donated to the annual fund in last year, 2022-2023, came from Paul Harris Society members. So these society members are very valuable and helpful to the foundation. Major donors are individuals or couples who give personal, outright, or cumulative gifts of $10,000. And there are various levels, as you can see on the left-hand side. And once someone donates $250,000 or more, they enter the Arts Club Society. Now, these are the major donor, or these are outright cash donations by the individual or the couple. And you get a beautiful crystal and you get a major donor pin or a pendant. So that's some of that great jewelry that Joanne likes, the Club Foundation chair. There's also a bequest society for people who make a provision in their estate plans totaling $10,000 or more to the Rotary Foundation, and the various levels are there. And then something new is the Legacy Society for a couple or an individual who is going to remember the foundation with $1 million or more. There's also, you can be a benefactor, and that's someone who pledges to give $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation after they pass on. I don't like to talk about this too much because it's kind of a sad thing. You want to recognize people, obviously, while they're with us. There's also various banners that your club can get. There's 100% Foundation Giving Club. That means everybody in your club has given at least $25 to one of the foundation funds. There's also the Every Rotarian Every Year Club. Every member in your club has given at least $25 to the annual fund. There are some clubs that have 100% Paul Harris Fellow clubs, but that's only good for 1 year because obviously that changes. And there's also a banner for the 100% Paul Harris Society Club. So these, usually clubs give these banners out at things like foundation dinners or brunches. Our district has a brunch, which is nice. We seem to get more people who want to come on a Sunday at the afternoon rather than trekking out on a Thursday evening to be in all kinds of terrible traffic. Ways to give. You can join Rotary Direct, our recurring giving program. And I'll show you how you can do that in the next slide or so. You can give online at rotary.org, donate by signing into your My Rotary account. You can also donate through your club by talking to your club foundation chair. I know there's some Rotarians members who are not comfortable going online to donate. And some of them, or maybe have been in Rotary a long time. Some of them are younger, just some people don't feel comfortable doing that. They may have been hacked or scammed in the past. I know scams are all out there. So I am the club foundation chair, and I just gave my little speech on Monday at our lunch meetings and saying, just the same thing what I just said now. Or if you wish, I will be glad to send your check in, or the individual can send their check into the Rotary Foundation. Also, I don't know how many of you know, but you can actually honor or remember someone by making a donation to the Rotary Foundation. There's also a corporate matching program. There are many corporations and companies throughout the US who will match your contribution if you work for that particular company. And the other way to give, which I find, I love Raise for Rotary. I have used it as a club foundation chair. I used it in the fall when we start promoting Polio Plus giving. And I'm not the greatest putting things together online, but this, if I can do it, I think anyone can do it. Raise for Rotary is kind of like, they used to have these Facebook platforms so that you could donate. What's great about this, there's no charge to anyone to use it. And the individual gets credit through the Rotary Foundation. Your club gets credit, your district gets credit. And it's very easy to use. As I said, if I can use it, my cat can use it, I think. It's Raise for Rotary. So when you get a chance, you can go online. Also, this gives you an idea. I was asked by someone, one of the club foundation chairs, just to show what it looks like to donate online for people who might not have done it before. So you can go on to my.rotary.org/donate donate. And this screen will come up and you can choose which fund you would like to support. So the annual fund share, now that obviously that's the one for our district designated funds and our global grants and district grants, Polio Plus. The World Fund, which is a part of the annual fund. You can do the Milestone Polio, Disaster Response Fund, or I don't know if the Pakistan Flood Response Fund or Ukraine Response Fund is still on, but if you go on that particular page, it will show you which disaster response funds are up and running. And then this gives you an option on the top if you'd like to give a gift in honor or memory of someone. And also, I don't know if you know this, but club officers can give gifts on behalf of your club or members. You can go in and do that if you're an officer that's submitted to Rotary. You can also sign up for one-time or recurring gift Rotary Direct. So there's you can make a one-time donation or the recurring donation, and that's where you would go in and have your donation taken out, whether it's quarterly or once a month, however you would like to set it up. Rotary Direct is easy, fast, and secure. You set it and you forget it. In fact, I was in an event and the speaker said, how many of you have Netflix? I think it's $14.95, and people raise their hand. Do you know that this is coming out? They don't even remember until they see their statement that they're taking money out for Netflix or Hulu or Prime Video or whatever. And you can do the same thing with Rotary Direct. You set it, forget it. And I guess my thought is if you can giving $14.95 a month to Netflix, it's not so bad to give whatever you want to give to the Rotary Foundation as well, and set it up is easy. This just gives you an idea of some of the projects that have gone on. Your gift is at work. When you donate to the foundation, those funds are used. They are used in a transparent manner. Rotary is very transparent. You can actually get the operational annual book that they put out that has everything in the world in it, how many grants were in each areas of focus, where the monies went, what money came from Paul Harris Society, Paul Harris Fellows, etc. So we're there. We're very well trusted. We're one of the top 100 foundations in the world. And as my mother used to say, we're not just chopped liver. So no matter how you choose to give, what your gift is, Rotary helps you keep doing good in the world. And that's doing good in the world is the Rotary Foundation's motto. Just one last thing before I forget, because someone else asked me about this. There's a very easy way that you can look up your donations that you've made to the Rotary Foundation. Once you get into My Rotary, if you go to the right-hand corner where I've highlighted my account, you can bring the drop-down menu that's on the right-hand side, and you'll see My Donations. If you click on that, you will see every single donation you've ever made to the Rotary Foundation, when you made it, what fund it was for, if you've transferred foundation points to someone else, it will show you your different Paul Harris levels when you receive them, or when you became a major donor, etc. There are a couple of tabs. One of the tabs will show you a graph and how your donations were split up among the various funds. So it's very easy to take a look at, because I get asked that. Do you know if I gave to the foundation this year? It's easy for someone just to look themselves. So I'd like to thank you for doing good in the world. And if you have any questions or comments, I would certainly be, willing to answer any of them. And if I don't know the answer, I have lots of sources, because I wish I knew everything, but I don't. But it's really nice to be here, and I thank you for inviting me. Anyone have questions on anything?
Thank you, Eileen. Yes, we do have some questions on chat. We have one from Carol King from Walker Rotary. Doesn't Gift of Life do heart surgeries?
I believe they do. Yeah, but this particular project was not a part of Gift of Life. This was a separate global grant project. So, Gifts of Life is a separate entity. I know sometimes they're involved in different global grants with Rotary clubs or Rotary districts, but this is a different thing.
So
Yeah,
they are
if I-
not entirely a global grant project. They are a nonprofit of their own.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Operation Braveheart is just, this was the name for these global grants that they came up with.
Thanks, Eileen. And we have a question from John from the Noah Club. Why only 34.4%? That means 2/3 of all Rotarians are not donors.
Yeah, that's a question. And I wish I understood why people don't give. And I know Jeannie and I have had conversations. I've had conversations with other colleagues. I'm not sure what the answer is. Because to me, if you belong to an organization, you would think you'd want to support that organization's foundation. And I don't know what the reason is. Except, sometimes I think, well, is it because we have dues and people feel that they're paying dues to their Rotary Club, and obviously that money goes to the dues for the district and the dues for Rotary International, or that they're doing service, so they don't need to donate? I don't know what it is. And it could be that they just don't know what the Rotary Foundation is all about. I think I guess one of the important things is if you are involved in either a district grant or a global grant, I think you understand what Rotary is all about. Or if you read the Rotary magazine and you read about these projects, you understand a little bit more. But I think it may be the fact, that they're paying dues. They don't feel that they don't have to. They don't understand what the foundation is all about. And maybe they haven't had the opportunity to get involved. Even a district grant, I think what got me so excited about the foundation was when our club did a district grant. It was only $2,000. It wasn't, widespread, a lot of money. It was easy to get our portion, our match to what we got for our district managed grant. And it was a literacy project. We took young children to see the Diary of Anne Frank and the Christmas Carol. These are children in a low-income area. Their parents are immigrants to the US. They don't know English well. They didn't have the opportunity to go to something like a play. And then they had the opportunity to read the play or the book and discuss it. And I was a chaperone, and I saw and heard what the children learned from going to the plays, from reading the source materials. It was unbelievable, just unbelievable. And that really got me. I said, God, this is the Rotary Foundation. This is what we can do. And maybe we need some more aha moments. You got to pull people in to your district grants, try to get them interested in global grants. Because as I always say, seeing is believing. Once you see what the Rotary Foundation could do, then that's it. I wish I had a better answer.
Yeah,
And
thank you,
Eileen, I
Eileen.
just want to add, Kapana, sorry, I want to add to that. This is exactly the reason why we're doing sessions like this one, this evening. So everyone will have more awareness and more appreciation of what the Rotary Foundation is all about.
One question, are these slides going to be made available to us?
Yes, every single session, like I said previously in the beginning, every single session of our district learning assembly will be available the day after on our website. There's a special section on 2024 District Learning Assembly, and you will see not just the slides, but the attendance, and if we have other related material, it will all be there. So
Are we able to download the slides if we want to use them
absolutely.
at our clubs?
Absolutely.
Jeannie, we're ahead of the game. These slides have already been posted. They're on the district website now, and they are available for download.
Barry's been working while we're talking. So thank you, Barry. So I think we can only take those questions at this point. We are about 20 minutes behind schedule, 15 minutes behind schedule. So we want to thank Eileen very much for this very comprehensive presentation. And this certainly will prepare our club foundation chairs to motivate others to support the foundation and to increase that the number we have in our district. As mentioned earlier, our district is at the number of donors, it's at exactly 35% from our district. So we can certainly do better to improve that. So thank you so much, Eileen, and I'm sure we'll see you again in the near future. So now, Andy, take it away.
Thank you, Jeannie, and thank you, Eileen. That was a very nice, very good, excellent presentation. And now it's going to be our turn to show what we're doing with some of our annual fund giving. First, we'll start with two clubs who will speak briefly about their district grants. First, I'd like to ask Cindy Allen of the Branchville Club, whose project dealt with non-food related items for local pantries. So Cindy, it's all yours.
Thanks, Andy. This idea came to me, believe it or not, from my 30-something-year-old daughter who was working in PR at the Atlanta Food Bank. She said, did you know that people that are on government assistance cannot buy personal hygiene and cleaning supplies with those monies? They're for food only. So they can't buy soap or toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, shaving cream, toilet paper. They can't buy any of that with government funds. So that got me thinking, and I talked to my club, and we went and spoke with a very close friend of our club who is very heavily involved with the Sussex County Food Pantry. And she said, that's exactly correct. So we asked her, what is it that you need? And she basically said that ShopRite and all the other grocery stores are doing a great job with supporting us with food, but this is what people are always asking for, and we never have enough of it. So she gave us a list of adult and children's toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant for men and women, bar soap, shampoo, conditioner, toilet paper, and believe it or not, one of the biggest items needed are laundry pods, like the Tide Pods, because what they do is they open up those big jugs of those pods and divide them into smaller Ziploc bags and give them out in 5s or 10s to people, so that, you know, can you imagine being a middle school kid having dirty hair and smelling and having dirty clothes because you can't stay clean? Imagine trying to get a job or keep a job. If you're not clean, your clothes aren't clean, your hair is not clean. So that's what we did. We actually worked with Ocean State Job Lots in Sparta. They open up an hour early for us, give us a dedicated cashier, and we go in like, as Ellie Benz likes to call us, we go in like locusts and wipe them out of stuff. We wipe them out of soap, toothbrushes, everything like that. They give us this dedicated cashier. On average, we've done this for the past couple of 3 years. We can load 7 to 8 full shopping carts full of donations. So we then take that over to the food pantry and deliver it to them. And they are beyond thrilled when they see that. One of the big things that happened this year is at a meeting the week before we went shopping, we had some visitors and guests, and I explained the district grant in a little bit more detail. And not knowing that the restaurant owner was standing behind me, and he said, this is a wonderful thing, I want to support it, and he stroked us a check for $250 right there on the spot. So that increased our ability to buy the equivalent of $250 toothbrushes for them to have at the food pantry. And then another guest in attendance said, I challenge. So we then did a challenge to it, and we earned another $300. So you never know where that money is going to come from. But the one thing I would like to leave you with is when we talk to our food pantry, that's 7 shopping carts full of stuff, that $2,000 worth of supplies last about 6 to 8 weeks, and then it's gone. So it is a much needed, much valued community support system that we feel very strongly that, if we can help kids get their teeth brushed and not have to lose them all due to cavities, or have somebody get or keep a job, or a kid not get bullied at school, we're 100% behind that. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. That's one really very rewarding district grant. We've got another one. By the way, we had over 51 district grants this year. But another interesting, or a very interesting district grant, the East Orange Club dealt with wellness preventing childhood diabetes and obesity. And Carol Jenkins, I believe, is here to talk about that.
Yes, good evening, everyone. We talked about diabetes among children. One of our board members, Matthew Stevens, works for the Family Success Center of Essex County, and he works with a lot of families and children. And he noticed that a lot of children come in there with bags of potato chips and sodas and all of the things that will have children at an early age with childhood diabetes. And he said, why don't we do a grant about, preventing childhood diabetes by teaching children how to eat healthy? And we said that was a wonderful, wonderful idea to do that. Initially, what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring in salads and smoothies and show kids how to eat with healthy foods. But when we wanted to go to the schools, they said a lot of children have, they can't eat certain foods because they're allergic to it. So what we did was he coordinated with a young man, David Miller, who is a health and nutrition specialist from Howard University in Washington, D.C. And he wrote several books about nutrition, and he wrote children's books also about childhood diabetes and obesity and how to prevent it at an early age. Because as you know, especially in the African American community, diabetes runs rampant. And so if we teach children how to eat healthy at an early age, they'll foster that all through their adult life and want to eat healthy. So we purchased the books from David Miller. We had a big Zoom meeting. We had almost 100 children in the auditorium to talk about eating healthy. He gave a wonderful presentation to the children. The children were all excited. We gave them all a T-shirt that said "Eat Healthy," healthy eating, and they all got a chance to pick one of 2 books that he had written. And we also had a Lady Rose come in. She had like a puppet thing to show children about eating healthy. And it was a wonderful presentation. And we have a picture of some of the children with the books and the T-shirts. If that could be put up on the screen, we would just like to show you. This is the children from the East Orange Community Charter School. This is one of the books, 2 of the books that David Miller wrote about, eating healthy. And this is myself and Lola Thomas, who is the current president of the East Orange Rotary Club in this picture. And this is what we did for our grant this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Those were 2 really interesting projects, and it sort of gives everyone the idea that the money you give to the annual fund that comes back in 3 years really does some wonderful things. And now we're going to show you something our district awarded 2 district grants last year. for global scholars. Not district grants, I apologize, global grants for global scholars. And this year we're going to award 3. And one of last year's recipients, David McMillan, who happens to be originally from Fanwood, Scotch Plains, and still has his dictionary in his pocket that we gave him in 3rd grade, is just completing his studies at the University of Oxford. And he can't be here with us this evening, but he sent us a 7-minute video. And I'd ask Barry if he could put that on now. You're muted.
I will do that.
From the district and a $15,000 scholarship that I've received from the foundation for all of those who are attending the district learning seminar. This $30,000 scholarship has made my graduate studies possible. Some background on myself. I studied at the College of New Jersey for a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. I graduated summa cum laude in Phi Beta Kappa. Right after that, I earned a full tuition scholarship to get a Master's of Science in Public Policy from the University of Edinburgh, where I graduated with distinction, the highest honors. And right now, thanks again to Rotary support, I'm studying for a Master's of Science in Criminology and Criminal Justice at the University of Oxford, and I'm on track to graduate with the highest honors as well. I spent most of my professional background working both in government, in criminal justice reform and criminal justice policy, and in more broadly research organizations as well. Interned for the Mercer County Department of Corrections, the Cato Institute's project on criminal justice, Centurion, the precursor to the Innocence Project, where I was developing claims of innocence for the wrongly convicted, the U.S. House of Representatives for Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman. I was Director of Public Policy and Communications after graduating from the University of Edinburgh. And I was working and living in Trenton, and it was at that point that I received a Rotary Global Scholarship. Also, since I've been in Oxford, I've been, as a part-time employee, serving as Director of Public Policy for a relatively new research organization based in Princeton that tries to improve transportation options for cities using the newest technology, say autonomous vehicle technology, but to ensure that the technology benefits the most marginalized communities in our cities and throughout our country. So what am I learning about in my master's degree in criminology and criminal justice? Well, I've listed all of the courses that I've taken. They provided a broad background, both in specific issue areas such as policing, but also in broad theory and policy issues across criminological theory and criminal justice. I gained strong skills in quantitative analysis and research design, both of which are essential for figuring out what works from policy. And to figure out what works from policy, you need to be able to test whether a particular intervention worked. And that means tracking, measuring the data and tracking the effectiveness of policy. I also got a sense for how to make positive contributions in a charged political environment. Increasingly, criminal justice policy is seen as a bipartisan issue, but certainly it was a great opportunity throughout the course to reflect both on my experiences in government and what was still left to do throughout my career. How could I use my career to generate the greatest social impact? And I think mainly the reason why Rotarians should be very interested in criminology and criminal justice is the reason that I'm interested in criminology and criminal justice, which is that it is the study of peace building and conflict prevention. And we all want communities that are safe, peaceful, and conflict free. And that's difficult to achieve, particularly in many urban centers in New Jersey. But based on my experiences in Trenton, there's a lot of progress that can be made. We created the Trenton Community Street Teams. It's an intervention closely related to a Princeton sociologist's new model of policing, where community leaders and formerly incarcerated individuals work with the police in a paid capacity to mediate community conflicts before they arise. This often means providing emergency assistance to individuals in need, helping again to stop conflicts before they turn deadly. And in Trenton, we saw a significant decrease in the lethal in lethal crime in terms of the homicide rate from that particular intervention. And throughout my career, what I'd like to do is to help make streets, communities, neighborhoods, and cities safer across all 50 states. And at the same time, to reduce the footprint of the criminal justice system. And we've seen a significant reduction in the size of the criminal justice system, but so much more can be done, again, both to make communities safer and also to reduce the number of people who are sitting in prison and jail at the state and federal level, and in local jails. And the second reason why we should be caring about criminology is that there are all these downstream consequences that are negative and pernicious when we don't have communities that are conflict free. When people are afraid to go outside, when they're afraid to go into public spaces, social life worsens. Organizations in the shadow economy, gangs, they reclaim public space. And so when that happens, there's urban disinvestment. There's real spiral of outward migration from cities when people don't feel like they're safe. And so if we can overcome this challenge, we can also work on many of the other Rotary areas of focus, like community building, education, and the like. And for those who have questions and comments, I'm sorry I'm not in person. I'm still in Oxford. Feel free to email me at david.mcmillan@stx.ox.ac.uk. I've shared this contact information, of course, with Sharon, and would be very happy to speak with you or your club upon my return to New Jersey, hoping to become very involved with Rotary, apply for membership, and really look forward to the opportunity to chat more about my experiences here, my future work, and hopefully shared passions about how can we make our communities better places, but also tackle some global issues. So thanks so much. And again, thanks for all that you do and for your support. It's really made a difference in my life.
David, I said, is only one of a total of 5 that six actually we funded. There is another scholar that was funded 2 years ago to a 2-year scholarship, and they're all being showcased on our website. There are 2 of them are up now. The third one will be put up probably in about a week when Sharon returns from his trip. And I urge you all to go look at this. It'll give you you talk about being incentivized to donate. Well, once you see where this money's going and the goals that these young people have, I would hope it encourages you to think about contributing to the annual fund. So thank you. Jeannie, you're muted.
Thank you for that, Andy. So we had a good session, and we want to thank Eileen, Andy, Cindy, and Carol. And we're hoping to see most of you, if not all of you, tomorrow night at our grants qualification seminar at 7 p.m. using the same link. Thank you and good night.